I believe it's very important for people to understand what is happening coterminously with the Bible. So at the very time of the Exodus, of Joshua, the Battle of Troy is being fought. After the Exodus, we all know that Moses is prevented from entering the Promised Land. And Joshua leads them there. And here we have proof. So when the son of Ramses the Great writes that he's gone into Canaan, he's taken bounty, destroyed cities, but then he meets a people called Israel. And he says, Canaan is plundered, Israel's laid waste, his seed is not, the people Israel, the descendants of Jacob, are in the land. Right here. Go see it in the Cairo Museum.
With regard to the Canaanites, we also have an incised ivory panel from Megiddo that dates to the 13th or 12th century, which is exactly the time of the Exodus. And it features the ruler seated on a sphinx throne, raising a cup and holding a flower, typical icons of Near Eastern tradition that represent the king's return from battle and celebration at the victory banquet.
And we also know that in the period of the Judges, we are told, from the period 1200 to 1000 BC, there was an explosion of settlements in the hill country. Must be the Israelites growing in population, but not along the land coast of Fertile Plain, because that's where the Canaanites lived. And then we all know about the Philistines. Who are they? Where did they come from? In Amos, we are told that the Philistines come from Crete.
Actually, we know a great deal about the Philistines, because in 1175 they attacked Egypt at the time of Ramses III. And the confrontation is depicted at Medina Habu, and there it is written, they were coming forward toward Egypt. Their confrontation with several tribes and the Pelset, the Philistines. So as seafaring people, the Philistine tribes settled along the coastline of modern-day Israel in the land of the Canaanites. And there begins an ongoing conflict between the Israelites living in the hill country and the Philistines living along the coast. That story is epitomized by the story of Samson and Delilah, when Delilah pesters Samson to learn about his strength. And ultimately, in Judges 16, verse 15, Delilah says, how can you say, I love you, when you won't confide in me? This is the third time you made a fool of me and haven't told me the secret of your strength. In verse 16, it is said, with such nagging, she prodded him day after day until he was sick to death of it. So he told her everything. Samson confessed that his strength lay in his hair. So while he was sleeping, Delilah cut off his hair. Then the Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and took him down to Gaza, the very Gaza that we know today. And this event is hauntingly portrayed by Rembrandt as the Philistines gouge out the eyes of Samson. But Samson finds redemption as described in Judges 16:26-30, whereby he's now in the Philistine temple. He's blind, and he pulls on the pillars, and the temple collapses, and all the Philistines and Samson die. In an archaeological dig near modern-day Tel Aviv, a Philistine temple was uncovered, and in this picture we show the bases of the columns that would have held up the roof, such as Samson would have pulled down. Perhaps the modern-day moral of this story is that trust in one's fundamental enemies is perilous.